Hello, and welcome to the Casino Tears podcast. I'm one of your hosts, 10 Ton is number one, and joining me as my co-host is the one and only Ed Robinson from Roll to Win Craps. If you want more info on our show, please visit our page at casinotears.com. On this week's show, we welcome in the dice coach, Beau Parker, a rare and candid 2-hour interview with one of the game's all-time legends, sharing stories on big scores, favorite tables, tipping dealers, cosmic energy, and getting banned from 5 casinos. And Beau, you let me know, you're like, don't need AC on?
I'm fine.
I mean, it's on. I can turn it.
It's fine.
All right, good.
You worry too much.
I know, I do worry too much. It's because I'm a...
Sorry, Ed, I'm over here arguing with a bitch over here.
I know it. That's like I'm telling the bitch over there that if I see you starting to pop a sweat, I'm gonna get pissed off at him.
I'm thorough. I want to make sure.
I told him he's too nervous. He's worried about every little thing.
I'm worried about him parking.
He tells me, okay, come in. He tells me how to get there, right? And he was go to the Aria valet parking, but stay to the right where it says Cristal and Veer. And I'm gonna send you a picture. I said, dude, I can follow signs. You don't need to send me a picture. So he sends me a picture, and the picture shows Cristal, Veer on the right, just like he said. In the middle, it said Aria, and on the left it says do not enter. So I sent him a text back. So now you want me to follow the sign that says do not enter, correct? And then he just goes,
Exactly. Because I knew. So the thing is, I knew that I'd send him that picture. He would be mad that I sent him that picture.
So that's why I did that.
Yeah, I totally. If I made a bet, I should have bet someone how much you want to bet. He just bitches about me sending him this picture. Double checking, worried about our guest, Ed.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
And then I get down. I got a 4x truck. You'd love it. It'd be great. My truck would do great in Alabama. And, so anyway, I get down into the tunnel. First, I said I need clearance. I need 82 inches of clearance. Well, that's 8 foot 2 inches here, so that's not a problem. Well, I take the first bend to the right. I had to stop and back up because I couldn't bend it that tight. Fancy sports cars and shit in here instead of a big Alabama truck, right?
They can't even haul a dadgum craps table up there to where
I know, but I'm looking at that and I don't know why not. It looks like it would fit.
Have you been up here? Saying.
Have you been up here, Ed?
No, he's met all my friends. I never even met him.
I know.
Well, just view like this, right?
Yeah, just like this. Like this. That's it.
Well, next time in Vegas, we'll all have to have a party.
We got to.
Absolutely.
I'll get out there sometime this year.
So then I get to valet, right? I go to the building to the right. Everything's cool. Guy goes, can I help you? And I said, yeah, I'm here to meet a friend. He goes, what's his name? And I'm going, 10 Tons number one. Right? And he goes, well, what's his? And I don't have his unit number. He said, well, he got all real pissy at me. I said, well, just cool your shit, dude. I said, I'll get back. I'll call him. He said, well, you can't be here right now. I said, I'm here right now. And I'm not going anywhere because I can't go anywhere because I'm too big to go anywhere. So just chill. So he went off and did something else, and I called him, and boom, boom, boom. And I got his unit number, which I should have had.
Yeah.
Then I gave him the unit, and everything was cool. They took that guy away and gave me somebody else.
So did they valet park you?
They did, because that's the only thing you can do here. You can only valet.
Yeah, it's forced. It's a forced big.
These units. He has a price tag up here. I'm looking at these units, 1,300 square feet for $1.3 million. My garage is bigger than this friggin' things,
I got pictures of your garage somewhere.
Well, yeah,
I'll find them here in a minute.
Probably the garage when I was first moved here 23 years ago.
Well, there's a lot of pictures with different classes and heavies in them. And
exactly.
Irish setter maybe, and
even Jerry Patterson in them. Sharpshooters in them.
Yep.
Frank Scobletti's in some of them.
Yep.
The good old days.
You started with Jerry Patterson.
That is correct. We were living in Mexico on our boat. Okay.
Yep.
And we were going to take a road trip.
You and your wife were living in like a small yacht.
Yeah, 48-foot vagabond catch. It was a motor sailor, right? Complete with ice cube maker, water maker, the whole shot. I mean, it was a floating condo. It's like this condo here only moved.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
We didn't like our neighbors' view. Just pull up anchor and leave, right?
Yep.
So we were going to go on this road trip. My wife does genealogy study. So she was going to go do her genealogy stuff in different libraries and different places, wherever you do genealogy stuff. And then I'm going to go to a casino. Well, doing that, I was in love with blackjack then. And I bought Jerry's, his blackjack system. And I did a crash course of the thing. And I followed his instructions, did all that. So we're gone 3 months. Went into 30 casinos, won in 27. I left, we went with a $10,000 bankroll, ran it up to like $35,000 3 months later. And I told my wife, I said, look, we're in Niagara Falls now. I said, look, we got to go back sometime. We can't be gone forever. So that's how I started learning. I learned, met Jerry Patterson from there, and then worked into his PAR program, which is the dice.
Yeah.
That's when he had the PAR pin. You wear a pin in the casino, and everybody then.
That's so everybody could recognize.
Yeah, that's what you don't want to do. Well, yeah, but that casino started recognizing you. Said, oh, you guys are like the dice setters and all this, way back when.
When was this?
Yeah, early 2000, in 1998, 98, 99, 97, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back then, Jerry thought it was a great idea that they all had this certain lapel pin, and they just wore it to a casino, and they went into a casino. They'd see somebody with that lapel pin, and they'd have like a brother at the table.
That's awesome, though. I mean, I love that idea.
Yeah, but then, like he said, it became recognizable.
Yeah, then the casinos go like your casino tiers hat. Okay, that's nice, but it's eventually, especially if he starts making a lot of money at the table, is going to create some attention.
Yeah.
You guys think so?
Oh, I know so. Hey, listen.
Oh, yeah.
You can't count cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay. If you take too much money out of the casino, they're gonna take a double look at you, boy. I'll tell you right now.
So Ed, these hats could bring the heat.
Yeah, but you're gonna sell so many of them, they won't know if it's you or not.
Yeah. It'll be like an epidemic. It'll be like an epidemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was telling Ed I was playing last night, and
I'm Ed. I'm Beau. He's Ed.
No, I was telling.
Oh, you were telling. Okay.
Today
we had this conversation. He kept calling me Ed. And so now I don't know if he's talking to me or he's talking to you.
No,
it is straight.
I was talking to Ed earlier, and I was telling him, I'm like, Ed, 3 people wanted to buy my hat yesterday at Paris, but I think they think it's the wrong meaning. They just think like casinos will make you cry.
Oh yeah.
Whereas it means
you want to make them cry.
Yeah, we want to make them cry, but whatever the reason. But yeah, there were 3 people. So Ed, you might be right.
You could just set up a stand out in the street.
There you go.
And just sell them.
And look like a homeless person, and you blend right in.
You can license these to the gift shop.
There you go.
That's
I think that's coming. That's coming. They'll be on sale at Spinetti's or somewhere.
There we go.
So, Beau, you retired to live on the high seas for like a few years, right?
Well, we retired from a construction business when we were 52, and went to Mexico. We lived there for 3 years, and then it said, "Is this all there is?" I mean, you can only drink so many cervezas and eat so many tacos, right? So I wanted to do something different. So I started leaving my wife on the boat in the marina in Puerto Vallarta. I'd fly to Vegas and stay at Bellagio or Monte Carlo, whatever. And I'd make anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 and then fly back. And after my 4th trip, she goes, well, if you want to do this, why don't we just move to Vegas? And I go, ugh, I don't know if I can do that. I said, I don't know if I have the discipline. Visiting here and playing is totally different than living here and playing, So if you're, the closer you are, actually, as it turned out, it's better for the gambler if he does live in a town, if you've got discipline, but you've got to have discipline. Yeah. Otherwise you'll burn through your bankroll in a heartbeat.
You ruined Gargoyle.
How'd I ruin him?
He's constantly turning his bets off, talking about the cosmic universe.
Is he turning him off at the wrong time?
Yeah. And he's blaming. He says, I got to do it because that's what Beau told me to do.
There's all these systems out there, right? Well, there's not one system out there that'll work all the time, but all the systems will work at least once, every once in a while, right? So you got to get somewhere in the middle. Hey, where'd Ed go? He's gone. He left us.
He might be getting a drink.
He fell off the ship. He fell out, and we're underway. We pulled anchor, and you're off the boat.
He's getting a drink.
There you go. Well, just bring that bottle. You should see if you had it together, you'd had that bottle on the floor right there before we even fired this thing up. Very good.
But like I was saying, Gargoyle says, I got to turn my bets off for 2 rolls. It's always 2 rolls.
Well, no, it's not always. Some of them's 1 roll. Some of them's 1.
Yeah, but if somebody hits the ATS, it's 2 rolls.
Well, hits the ATS. Really, that's not on my vocabulary.
It
And the
is
ATS.
not. The ATS.
That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it.
We can fix that.
And okay, so I had a good conversation with Beau earlier this week, which is funny because I did go to Paris to play Crapless. When I called Beau, I'm like, Beau, where's the best place to play Crapless? And he's like, why do you want to do that? He's like, well, first off, why are you doing that? Right?
That's right.
And then you proceeded to tell me that you don't care about any of the bonus bets. You don't care about double odds. And that's not the things you should be looking for. Correct? Those aren't the things you should be looking for.
Well, you're playing high vig bets and they're fine when they hit, right? In my estimation, there's no bad bet on the table. Just bad timing.
As long as it hits.
Yeah, it's just bad timing. So if you've got a set, or if you're generating the extreme outside numbers, well, then you're an idiot if you don't bet them. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to go you got to follow the game. The game is there. Play the game that's given to you. And if I have a set I'm using and I'm generating numbers, right? And it gets down to say the craps and 11, that's all I need left.
Mm-hmm.
If I reset my dice, I'll pull all my bets down just to try to hit the ATS. If I don't, I'll just keep rolling with the same set. It's like lightning in a bottle. If you hit it, you hit it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
Now, for instance, I was with a class, I had 6 students. We were at Caesars. And I had the AT, I had every number but the 8, 35 roll hand, every number hit but the 8. And I'm thinking 5 ways to make an 8. And at 35 rolls, you haven't hit it once. Take all my bets down because I'm not going to hit the 8. Reset for the 8. 2 rolls later, hit the 7. But I laid the 8 for 600. So I could make an extra 500. Okay. And it worked out fine because I had the bets pressed up. I was black chips all the way across at that time. And so I salvaged those. Plus I got my lay bet and color coming in. I'll see you later.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people lay, and I've laid, it depends on how much I've got on that ATS as to whether or not I would lay a box number.
Well, yeah, or how much you're going to lay it for.
Yeah. You know, so it's like what I like to do if I'm going to lay it is lay enough to cover. If I need like you needed the tall, then I need to win at least the tall money on my lay. And then if I hit it, then I've got the all money coming back in. So, you know, if it was a good bet when there were no points made nor anything made, it's a great bet when there's only an 8 left. But sometimes I've been there, done that. Can't hit a 6 or an 8 or
sure.
Last weekend, I didn't play many ATS tables last weekend, but I needed a 2 and a 10. And a 10 is one of my main numbers. It's one of my signature numbers. And I couldn't even hit the 10.
Sometimes it happens that way.
Yeah, it does.
That's why we can't call us dice control. We can't control them. We can influence
we
them.
Can't control them. We try to influence them, or I do. I try to.
So, Beau, this is a question that I have, and I really wanted to get your answer on this to all the people that poo-poo or say that we're crazy.
What, as far as dice control?
Yeah.
Well, when I have group classes, now the group classes I have are created within themselves. They're all people, the group knows each other before they get there, okay? So 10 or 12 people. First question I ask them, raise your hand if you're here for a dice control class. And everybody raises their hand. I said, dudes, you guys are in the wrong class. I said, because there's no one that can control the dice. It's dice influence. All we're trying to do, you can influence the dice. We're not influencing. Just because you use a 3V set or a variation of it doesn't mean you're going to hit 6s and 8s. All we're trying to use is the best set in the moment to avoid the 7. And I don't care if they're on or off axis. It doesn't matter. You adjust your set to what your dice are performing and behaving on the table in the moment that you're playing. Does that make sense?
100%. I agree 100%.
As far as control, hey, every once in a while we look like we're controlling it, and you go bang, 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 bang. Oh man, he's really on the top of it. Look at this. Okay, beautiful. It's great when it happens. Doesn't happen every time.
Then why do you even catch any heat from setting dice from these casinos if it doesn't necessarily?
Oh, we've caught heat.
Why would they even give it if dice setting or dice control isn't really a thing, or the casinos don't necessarily believe you can control dice?
Certain casinos,
obviously they do.
Yeah, they do. And certain casinos are worse than others. I mean, some of the casinos around here, if you start setting the dice, we don't like you setting the dice, or they'll give you a bunch of crap, just trying to, interrupt you from what you're trying to do. Just like South Point, they're not really user friendly. Treasure Island's definitely not user friendly as far as dice setting. It is. I remember one time I went into Treasure Island. One, I could play there. I can't play there anymore. But the dealer, she was a dirty dishwash blonde hair. She goes, "Oh, here comes the dice setters." And I go, "Sweetheart," I said, "do you realize the dice setters are the only ones tipping you? Why would you bite the hand that feeds you? What is your problem?"
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't think about that part.
This is awesome, Beau. Where are you banned?
Let's see, where do I begin?
Yeah, where do I want to hear this list?
Okay. Suncoast, which is a Boyd property.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Suncoast, Gold Coast, which is a Boyd property.
Whoa. Okay.
So those are the two Boyd properties. Now, ask me this, or let me ask you this. There's two Boyd properties that I can't play at, but the other ones are no problem. How can that possibly be? What's the problem, right?
Must be a glitch in the software.
Yeah. So then Tuscany is another place I can't play, but now it doesn't matter. They don't have craps anymore anyway.
Right. Okay.
Treasure Island, and then the Wynn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And but I can play at the Encore. Not a problem at the Encore. The sister, which is the Wynn, no.
Okay. So why? Like, how does this happen? And do they just come up and be
I
like,
get different reasons. I get different reasons, and you'll love these reasons because they're all different.
Yeah.
They're all different. And this is kind of cool. Okay, let's start. Where do we start? Let's start at Suncoast.
Near Rampart.
Near Rampart. We used to live about a mile from that casino in Summerlin, okay? That's another story. But anyway, because we bought our first house when we moved to Vegas was in Summerlin. We lived in it for 3 years, and I couldn't help but sell it because I sold it for 4 times what I paid for it. So I had to, right? So there you go.
That's a good reason.
That's a good reason. Cash flow, right, Ed?
Yes.
So anyway, this guy was giving me grief at the Suncoast. He was a little short guy, and just give me all kinds of crap. As a matter of fact, on a busy night, they would move the dice so fast they would be behind a bet on every payout. They were a bet behind on paying out on the previous roll. That's how fast they moved the game. So anyway, he gave me a bunch. I mean, just was unmercifully on me. I'd be at stick right. I would ask the person at the end of the table to please move your chips over. And he'd come over, "You can't tell our players where to put their chips and blah, blah. You can't tell them what to do," and so forth and so on. I said, "Okay, all right." So one thing led to another. I said, "Bring me your supervisor. I want your boss out here. I want to talk to him." Brings his boss out here. Comes out here, and I said, "I want you to look at my throw and tell me if there's a problem, that you have a problem with the way I'm throwing the dice and hitting the wall." All right. So he let me, believe it or not, he let me have a couple, 3 rolls. I said, "What's the matter with the toss?" He goes, "Nothing." I said, "Then we'll tell him that." "Well, he just had a bad day at home or something, and he's bringing his problems to work." I said, that's bad management, man. You can't be doing that. You can't be bringing your problems from home to work. So he leaves, everything settles down a little bit. And then I went in there a couple of days later, and I'd probably had a couple of drinks at this time. It was in the evening, had my wife with me, and I was winning, had a lot of money in the rack. And he comes up giving me the same stuff. I said, "I figured it out what the problem is." He goes, "Well, what's the problem?" I said, "It's you. You've got the short man complex."
Oh, that's nice.
And he just goes, "Oh, security." And that's heat. He called security over, and he said, "Okay, you have to leave, sir, and you can't come back." So I said, "Well, I'm not leaving until you get on the PA and get my wife and blah, blah, blah. So we're out of here. So, okay, that's how we got kicked out of there because I demeaned him. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that unbelievable? That's crazy. So anyway, when we did one of our TV shows, was it it was the A&E thing we did on television, right? And they told me they have a casino set up, but they're not going to tell me where it is. And we're going to tell you at the last minute to show up there. Okay. So they said, it's at Suncoast. I said, they're not going to let you in. They're not going to let me in. Oh yeah, they'll let you in. So everything was all set up at the time. It was all cool. I walk in and they go, is this your guy? Is this your guy? They go, yeah, no, this deal is over. It's done. Really? So they said, now what are we going to do? I said, so I made a phone call to the pit boss I knew over here at the cannery down the street from my house now. So anyway, so I called my pit boss that I knew over there at the cannery. And so I said, do you want to get some free advertising on TV and all that stuff? He goes, yeah. I told him what the deal was. Yeah, well, come on over. Yeah, come on over. So we went over to set it up there. And that's when we shot the shots from there instead of out there at Summerlin. But I can't, if I walk in the casino because of facial recognition and so forth, I can go in there, but I can't get within 10 feet of the craps pit. So it wasn't how much money you made or whatever, la-di-da-di-da. It was because of the way I treated or mistreated the,
Some of the casinos are real picky about that.
They are, but la-di-da. Right?
Okay. But what happened then at when?
Okay, let's go. Let's go
Let's go down the list.
Let's go to Tuscany. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, me and Soft Touch and Hardway.
Oh, dude, Ed.
We're going to talk about Soft Touch later. Don't get
Let
excited.
me Soft Touch. Okay. Sorry, love that.
Me and Soft Touch and Hardway go over to the Tuscany. It's a $5 game, and we're all buying in for like $1,500 each. And first bet, we threw the dice a little bit, and so each one of us go 640 across. 100 on every number, 120 on the 6 and 8, right? Boom, boom, all three of us. And this was early in the morning. And they had maybe 4 or 5 people in there playing nickel slots. And we were, every time we hit a number, boom, 140, 140, 140, 140, 140, 140. And after about 8 numbers, they said, okay, we're shutting you guys off. I thought they were kidding, right? So I said, what do you mean? I said, we're not even warmed up yet. We haven't got started. He said, that's what we're afraid of. So he said, you guys, it's cool.
That's awesome.
It's cool, but here's what we're going to do. They brought security over. No hard feelings, but please take your chips to the cage, color up, and we don't want to see you on the craps table anymore. Oh, okay. So that's how that went.
That's awesome.
So then, listen, so we go out.
Not really.
We go out.
No, but I mean, that's amazing that happened.
I would have liked to spend at least an hour there first, right? That would have been cool.
More than just a few throws.
Yeah. So, it's about 8 throws. And so, we did fine, but we could have done better. So we go out to Texas Station, and Hardway knows the manager out there. And he meets us at the front door. They saw
Hardway. Is that hard? That's not Hardway Jack, is it?
No, this is Hardway. He's not with us anymore. He passed several years ago. He is called Hardway because he used the Hardway set, and he hit lots of Hardways with the Hardway set. He was a big player too. He did really well, but he was a Vietnam vet, and he had that Agent Orange and all that crappy stuff. Yeah, he became a really personally good friend of mine. And so anyway, the manager met us at the front door, and he said, "Hey, you boys are popular today." And Debbie was with us, and what do you mean? Well, we just got this email or this memo or however they circulated out to the casinos that you just got booted out of Tuscany. And he started laughing. He said, "You want to play that kind of money in our casino? Come on in. We'll open the door for you. Come on in," right? So that was the story on that one there. So, but you asked about the win, right?
Go down the list, man. We got Treasure Island.
Okay, we'll do the Treasure Island last.
Oh, okay. Wait, and then there's Gold Coast for sure.
We'll skip over to Gold Coast.
Okay, let's do Gold Coast.
Okay, we did Suncoast. Yeah. Oh, I can't go there anymore, so it doesn't matter. So I got 2 students. I got 4 students with me, 2 doctors who were staying there, and 2 young guys. And they were giving me, and I was shooting from the end, and they were giving me the issue of I'm not hitting the back wall hard enough. type of thing.
Oh, one of those deals.
Yeah, I'm hitting the wall, but it wasn't to their liking. So, okay, one thing led to another, and then they got all PO'd at me, and they just said, okay, you're going to have to color up. We don't want you shooting anymore. You can't play anymore. And so the doctors that were there go, are you kidding me? We're staying here, and he's our friend. We'll never, ever come back here again. So they colored up, and the other two young guys on the way to the cage go, oh, ain't it cool our coach got kicked out of the casino? I said, no, it ain't cool that your coach got kicked out of the casino. So that was that. When I went back there after, a few months later,
yeah,
no player's card, no nothing, bought in. They said, let's see your driver's license. I said, I don't need a player's card or anything. I'm not going to be here. We need to see your driver's license. Give them a driver's license. Go in there. You're not supposed to be playing here. So, why do you think I didn't want to give you my driver's license? Hello, right?
Yeah, right.
So that one, you got to mark that one. And that's right across from Rio. So it's not that big a deal anyway, right?
Yeah, Rio.
You don't like it in there either?
Supposedly, I hate the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
It's not because of heat. It's because the dealers are all brand spanking new.
That's
and it
slow
takes them
game.
4 hours. It takes them 4 hours to toss a hand in that place.
It's a break-in joint, right?
It's a breakaway, get the way, don't go there joint, as far as I'm concerned. I hate that damn.
And they're doing
I
more.
played there every time I go there. I go, why the hell did I even come in the doors? I knew it was going to. Now, the box people, I've never had a problem with. But anyway, tell us about the win.
The good old win.
One of 10 Ton's favorite places.
I like Encore. That's where I had my biggest roll ever, was at Encore.
Oh, really?
When they had the tables in the back near the elevators, but it was before they moved the poker room and all that stuff. It was chill back there. There were only a few tables.
Yeah, I used to like to win. I like their tables over there. The problem was, it wasn't that I made so much money or bet large amounts of money. It was the fact that I was catching some long rolls, and they were worried about, because they have a lot of high rollers go there. Guys betting, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a number, and afraid to catch a long roll that beat them up a little bit. And so they came to me and they said, okay, we'll let you play, but you can't shoot. And I had my longest roll in there was like 52 rolls.
No.
52 roll hand was a nice hand. Right?
Thumbs up to you. Like,
this was the manager.
tap
right?
you on the shoulder.
Yeah, tap me on the shoulder. They tapped me on the shoulder while I was shooting, by the way. He goes, yeah, I need to talk to you. I said, hey, listen, dude, I got the dice right now. You're gonna have to wait till I get done shooting. I wouldn't stop. And so they let me finish the hand. And he says, you need to color up and come with me. I said, dude, I'm in the middle of this game. Who are you and what is your problem? He said, he showed me his ID and stuff. He was a big wig at the Win. He goes, you need to color up and come to me into the cage. So I went over there and cashed out. And he says, you know what? You can't shoot here anymore. And I said, why? He said, we don't have to tell you why. I said, okay. All right. He said, but we'll let you play, but you can't shoot. I go, okay, we'll give that a shot. So the next time I went in there, I was playing and I'm winning. They come up, the same guy comes up, he says, okay, you're done. I said, what do you mean I'm done? He says, you're winning. I said, well, that's what I'm supposed to do is win. He says, yeah, but you're too consistent and we don't like your play. And I said, I'm not betting thousands. I said, we don't care. We don't want you here. And I said, why? He said, they don't have to tell you why. It's private property. They can discriminate, however. So, okay, fine. So I'm done. You can play blackjack. You can go play slot machines. I said, yeah, I bet you'd love me to play slot machines. I don't play slots. So I had one of my high roller students who was a VIP there at Wynn. So he gets the casino manager down. They check out all the write-ups that they did on me, right? And he looked like a ghost when they saw everything. And they said, we can't even talk about this. He says he's not allowed in here, and that's the end of the story. So even the high rollers couldn't do anything. So that's when I started going over to Encore, and it's not a problem. So answer me that, Ed. Why would that not be a problem? They're sisters, same company.
What year is this?
This was probably about 7 years ago.
Wow. I mean, that's recent.
Yeah, that's recent stuff.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Man, that's heat, bro. That's heat from the Win. Ed, Man,
Yeah.
you don't know we don't have to tell you the rules till you break them, right?
Well, it's their rules whatever they want to make up. It's just like when I was at one of those buildings right there behind you, just down from the parish, but attached through the tunnel when it was called Bally's, when the guy made me stop setting the dice during my toss. During my toss. It was okay up until I was going for the fifth fire bet. Right? Or fourth fire bet, whatever it was. I'm only like 9 tosses in and I've already hit 3 and I'm on my 4th point.
You're forced to the fire? Yeah.
Yeah. And he came up and said, you can no longer set the dice.
So I don't understand. These casinos are printing money. They're printing everyone. What are they really worried about? With Beau, they're worried that a high roller is going to be on your shot, right?
Exactly.
And drain them. I mean,
that's paranoia.
Yeah, because Ed's not betting, thousands of dollars now. I mean, if I have a long enough hand, it's going to get well up there.
It'll get up there, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not starting out that way.
Yeah, but I'm not going to start out with 640 across or whatever, right?
But aren't they built? They're built to withstand this stuff. Why would they? I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. It just seems so wrong.
Yeah.
Hurting their egos.
Yeah, they just want to pull a power play. I mean, I've seen a lot of suits come down there and they all stand there with their arms crossed, and they watch, and you're not doing anything wrong and they don't say anything, but they watch because, that bank over there has got those little crop circles showing up in places that they don't like it to show up, but you're not doing anything wrong. So they just let it go. All in all, they figure if you come back, they're going to win it. They're going to get it
That's
back.
why they want you coming back.
Yeah. I mean, they just up your comps. They want to make sure you come back, but some of them are true jerks about it, but.
And it depends who's on the floor too at the time. Sometimes
the floor is the main guy. Yeah.
And it also depends on what happened before you got there too. Maybe they got hit hard before you got there. You don't know what happened before you got there.
That all those crop circles could have been there and refilled the bank, and then you come in there and you're doing the same thing the last guy did.
Yeah. So what happened at Treasure Island?
I used to go there a lot. I mean, a whole lot. And I loved the tables there. You could very few times you would lose. I'll put it that way. When we were doing the A&E Arts Entertainment video for those guys, we had a day off, me, my son, and Debbie, soft touch, and then went to Treasure Island. This was on a Saturday afternoon it was on a Sunday afternoon because we went out to champagne brunch. We ended up at Treasure Island, ran into 3 of my high roller students from New York. And they had one table empty because it was a $25 table. The other ones were nickel tables and they were full. So this was several years ago. Okay. So I said, well, hey, let's take this one. It's empty. So Tommy, the high roller from, and the reason why they're high rollers, he's a bookie too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Him and his partner, Joey, they were both there. I'm not going to mention last names, so I don't want to get anybody
No.
IRS around here, so whatever, Yikes. So anyway, he wanted to sign a marker, and for some reason, they just ignored him. Well, Deb Soft Touch has got the dice, and she's rolling, and she's rolling, and she's rolling. And so pretty soon, about 45 minutes later, they come over there. Oh, you wanted a marker? And he said, I don't need it now, because he's got, thousands of dollars on the layout. Okay. Oh, okay. So she held the dice a little over an hour. And then,
Nice.
Then when she 7'd out, this was cool. This was one of my off moments. She threw a midnight or some damn thing. I said, everybody turn your bets off. And there were thousands of dollars in the layout. So everybody turns their bets off, and then boom, there's the 7, the next roll. So all the casino got was, I said, they even pick up your odds. It picked up the odds. The only thing they got was the minimum pass line bet. And they weren't happy. So now you look up, you've got 3, you did the suit thing a minute ago.
Yeah.
Okay. We had 3 suits there doing this, not watching their dealers, but watching us. Right. Yeah. So, okay. So take all these bets down. I get the dice and I'm rolling, and I get lucky enough that day. I caught an hour roll. Okay. Tommy turned his bets. He had a $6,000 6 and 8, turned his bets off. I hit the 8. They paid him for the 8 with the off button. And he looks at me, and I looked at him. I just shrugged my shoulders. You're on your own, bro. And so he picked it up and put it in his rack. And I thought, well, in about 15 minutes, somebody's going to run downstairs or the phone's going to ring and they're going to say, hey, give us our 7,000 back, right?
Yeah.
My question is, okay, there's the box man. There's the dealer who just paid him. And now he says, turn me back on. And the next breath, after he pays him, turn me back on.
Oh, I would never.
See what I'm saying? And so, and then you got the 3 suits sitting there looking. Who's watching the dealers? And nobody came down. They boom. So in that case, we ended up taking $150,000 off the table between our group, between all of us. And of course, Tommy and his buddy were the big betters, but we still did really, 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 really well.
Yeah.
So there was no heat at that point. They came over and they said, please come back, blah, blah, blah. You know, you go to the steakhouse and eat and whatever. So that was fine. Then I went back about a month later solo on a Saturday night. I did really, really well. And now I started getting heat. You got to hit the wall harder. You got to hit the wall harder. Okay. So then that just dwindled from there. And then one night I was in there with 2 students. I had maybe, I don't know, $800 or $900 coming in comps. And then they shut me off. They said, you're not gonna shoot here anymore. We don't like the way you're throwing the dice. I said, okay. So I knew as soon as I left, my comps would get washed. So I told my students, I said, I hope you guys are hungry. I said, I'll cover the first $800. I said, we'll order wine, steaks, whatever. We'll cover the first 800 and then the rest is on you. Not a problem. So went in and ordered a few bottles of wine, some steaks, and had a great time. And that was it, you know? So that was that one. Yeah, that's it. They can do that. I know it's discrimination, but it's private property. We've been asked to leave, like Caesars, we did a big score in there. This was just before COVID. And they just asked us to leave for the rest of the year. But now I can go back. But now I can go back. They said, oh, okay.
Let's start over with new books next year and you can come back.
How big was that score?
We need to clear our books. Well,
it was a 3-day event that we did. See, you'll like this story.
Please. I like them all.
I had a student. I'm not going to mention names here because I don't want to get people in trouble.
You can mention handles though.
Yeah, these guys don't have handles.
Okay.
This young man
been knighted into the brotherhood yet.
There you go. The young man, when he turned 21 from Texas, he took my class. Did really well. And then I didn't hear from him, Ed, for 10 years. And then out of the blue, my phone rings and there he is. You know, phone ID, right? I knew who he was, right? Well, how'd you remember me? I said, I could tell by your voice, right? Just names right there on his number. Didn't change his number. Yeah. He said, my brother is having a birthday and I want to have a birthday party, a craps party at your place. What would you charge me? So I said, okay, let me get back to you. So I figured it out, got back to him. He said, okay, that'll be fine. Set the date, set all the stuff, get the pizzas ordered and all this other stuff. Then he calls me back. He says, hey, I want you to reserve us a table at Caesars. That's where we're going to be staying. And I said, well, we can't just arbitrarily do that. You got to, they want a credit line.
Yeah.
And he goes, all right, well, can you set it up for me? I said, I'll get the people in contact with you. And I said, but you need $250,000 to, he said, that's not a problem. I'm thinking 21, now he's 31, brother's 32, $1 million, $250,000 is no problem. All right, let's roll with this program. So get a hold of my guy. They get a hold of him. There's 10 guys, right, in this party, right? They each wire the cage $100,000 each. There's $1 million sitting in the cage.
Sweet.
So he calls me back and he goes, he says, okay, we're able to get the table. I said, okay, fine. He said, now we want you to spend 3 days with us. I said, no can do. He said, why not? I said, because you guys are millennials and you're not going to listen to me. I'm going to teach you this stuff and you're not going to pay attention. You're going to do something completely different when we get to the casino anyway. So I don't want to waste my money on you guys by not paying attention. He said, okay, well, what if we did pay attention? And what if we did follow your rules? I said, I'm in. So, well, how much is that going to cost? I said, you're going to bankroll me for $3,000 to start with. You're going to guarantee me $3,000 a day if we're going to play for 3 days. And then I'm going to get a piece of your action because these guys are going to be betting $1,000 minimum a number and $1,000 in the pass line.
Damn.
Right.
Like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fine. So the dog here, I'm good for that, right? No
Yeah,
problem.
Hey, no problem.
That's
I'm
No
with you.
problem.
exciting.
Call me if
So-
you can't handle it.
Yeah, exactly. So we get down there, we get all set up and see. They brought a bus out to my house. We all get in the bus, all go down there. I spent the 3 nights down there with them. We had breakfast together. We had lunch together. We had dinner together. We had the whole 9 yards, right? Everything was going along fine. We'd take breaks in between, and then come back. And they did. When I said, call your bets off, they'd call their bets off. And I taught them how to tip the dealers. The dealers loved us because they were tipping them big dollars. I mean, huge dollars.
Right.
So the second day there, he's got a suitcase on a cart. I said, where are you going? Are you changing casinos or what? He said, no. He says, I've got a $2 million wine collection at home. And he says, I know you like wine. So I brought a case. I don't know, it's probably worth about 20 grand in this case of wine. I said, are you kidding me? He said, no. So they each gave us a wine goblet, which barely fit under the drink rail. Okay.
Right.
And they gave us a full-time server. So every time, and her job was to take his wine, pour it in our glass half full, and make sure it doesn't get below half full. That was her entire job. And every time she
Yeah.
did that, we would tip her $5. So by the time she get from one end of the table back to the other end, she's getting another $5, right? It was like an annuity coming in for her, right?
Absolutely.
So
got
she
lifetime
just loved it.
income coming in off
Absolutely.
your drinking habit.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, we had a lot of fun. Everything was cool. The second day we go in there, they gave us a different table. This was table number 8, and that's by my estimation the best table in there.
At Bellagio.
No, this is at Caesars. And so they gave us a different table. I said, no, we don't want this table. We got to have that table. They said, well, we don't have it open right now. I said, well, we best be opening it then. And they said, well, no, the management says we're not going to open that table. We're going to open this table. I said, well, then bring me management. We'll have a discussion. So we had a little meeting, right? I said, okay, we can either stay here and play. If we're not going to get that table, we're going to go over to Bellagio. Okay, well, looks like we're going to be opening up your table for you.
Yeah.
So they don't want that kind of money leaving out the door, right?
No, they don't want it going across the street.
No, but they're neighbors, right? They're competition.
They're neighbors.
So
Yeah.
Move back over there. So I'm shooting from the end. I'm in a chair, nice and comfortable, sipping my wine, having a good time. Everything's clickety clack. My casino host comes up to me. He says, I need to talk to you. I said, well, what's the problem? He says, the casino's mad at you. I said, what do you mean they're mad at me? I said, look, I brought you 10 players. You got $1 million in the cage. Yeah, but there's over 2 million in there now. You're killing us. And he says, the reason why they're mad at you, he says, these guys are big bettors and you keep telling them to call their bets off. And then the 7 rolls within 1 or 2 rolls. And they think you're cheating. I said, do you think I'm cheating? I said, it's not worth it to cheat at this game. I said, we got lucky every once in a while. He said, yeah, this is a little more than luck though. He said, you're on the camera. They're watching you. They're watching every move you make and they can't figure out what you're doing and why that 7 shows up almost 90% of the time when you call your bets off. I said, well, just having a couple of good days. That's it. They said, well, all right. They're not happy. This is on the 3rd day, by the way, not the 2nd day. He said, so here's the deal. You don't get a chair. You're too comfortable. They took my chair away from me. Talk about discrimination. Now I'm shooting from the end, Ed. I'm shooting from the end. Boom. I'm hitting the wall. They said, you need to hit the wall harder. I said, what do you mean harder? You got to hit the wall harder with more force. All right. Your house, your rules. So the dice started at stick left 1 and short roll coming around. Boom, boom, boom. Then I get the dice. And my student goes, well, this is our last hurrah. So we might as well go for the gusto. They put the max bet on the all tall and small. The max bet on the all tall and small. I put 25, 25, 25 on it, right? Okay, because I'm not betting 1,000 a number like these guys. And meanwhile, these numbers are, as you can imagine, pretty high up there. So I'm throwing the dice. I'm having a good time. I wasn't noticing, sipping my wine, just like we're having right now, right? I said, hey, check it out. I just hit the talls. I just hit the freaking talls. Holy crap. So boom, they pay everything out, right? And so I go, check this out. I need the 5 and the 4. And here's what I want you guys to do. And a little bit of luck goes a long way, Ed. I said, I want you to, this is a bad bet. In this case, it was an excellent bet. I want you to hop the 5, the 3-2-5, not the 4-1, but the 3-2-5 for $1,000. 10 guys hop it for 1,000 each. I set the 3-2. I throw it a little harder, like I was told. 3-2-5, boom. Well, there's 16,000 times 10 that just went out.
Damn.
Now the phone's going berserk in the pit. And so they look at me and they go, all you need is the 4. And I said, we're going to get it right now. Right now, we're going to get the 4. I want you to hop. I want you to hop the easy 4 and bet the hard 4 for 1,000 each.
Yeah.
They do that. I set the dice. I use the 2V only. I don't have the 2V. I've got the 2V looking at me with the 3-1 on top. Okay.
Right.
Because if I double pitch, I don't want to get a 7. So I throw the dice to go down there. The 2 stops, boom, right at the wall. The other die rolls back about a quarter of the way and just kept on rolling and rolling and stopped on the 2, 22 for the 4. And this went frigging. By then, my phone was texting, was my wife. She was looking, she was going to join us for dinner, right? And she goes, where are you? And she said, never mind, I know where you're at. I hear the cheers. I hear all the loud noise of the casino just went nuts. And so there you go. That was awesome. Yeah. That was it. So he says, okay, you guys you're done for the, and he looked at me, the student looked at me, he says, we're done, aren't we? Oh, we're way done.
You're overdone.
Yeah, we're way done.
You're well cooked.
So I between what I made in those 3 days and my commissions and everything, it was a little over $80,000. So that was nice. And so the problem I had was cashing $5,000 chips. I'm not cashing them. I don't want to pay. Oh, here we go with IRS again, right? I don't want to do that, but it was they're chips. They're not money, right? So there's no problem at that point. So if I cash it in at 5, 6, 7, 8,000 at a time, that's not a problem. First time I go up there to the cage, and these are smart chip too. You know that, Ed, right? These $5,000 chips.
Yeah.
They go, which table were you? I said, we're at table 8. And I gave them the table number, the time, the whole shot, what day it was. So they had to go get their supervisor in the cage, look at it. Well, we don't know if that's our chip or not. I said, it's got that is not cool. So we did this dance for a while. I said, bring me your casino manager. They brought the casino manager. He said, what's the problem? I said, there isn't one. I said, is this your chip? And well, it appears to be. I said, okay, here we go. I said, give me my phone. Took my phone out. I said, do you recognize that phone number? He looks at it. He goes, looks like the gaming commission number. I said, it is. I can hit the green button right now if you want to. I can get him down here. We'll get this thing resolved real fast. No. Go ahead and pay him the $5,000 for that chip. I said, no, don't go away. I said, I'm going to come in here every other day with between $5,000 and $7,000 until I burn up about 80 grand here. And we're not going to have this problem again, are we? And he goes, no, you'll be just fine. I said, okay, thank you very much. That ended that. But we couldn't play for the rest of the year. So what we did, you'll like this little tail of the story here. Go over to Paris. This is about 3 or 4 weeks later. Saturday night, packed. This is, now they're not so packed anymore, but they were packed then. And I went to a pit boss I knew. I said, hey, listen, I said, I got some high rollers here and from Texas. And he says, we heard about your high rollers from Texas. I said, they're big bettors. I said, they're big bettors. Well, how big? I said, $1,000 in the pass line. He says, oh, get out of here. I said, no, they'll bet 1,000 on the pass line. He goes, really? I said, yeah, but I said, I need a reserve table. He says, which table do you want? And I told him they got to be buying in between 25 and 40,000 each. He said, you pick your table, I'll get your table. So I want that table there. Go to that table, stick left with shooting. He goes, as soon as you're done, the minimum in this table goes to $1,000 a bet. So cleared the table out and we got our table. But I could bet 25. I said, I'm not betting $1,000 a number. I'll bet $25 a number. That's fine. That's crazy. And I asked these guys, I said, where did you get all this money? You guys are in your 30s, right? Oh, we sold an internet company for $150 million. Yikes, mister.
I got a question for Beau. Speaking of professional crews and him getting kicked out of certain casinos, Beau, your top 3 casinos that you would play at in Vegas that you love going to all around, cruise, ambiance, and obviously you shoot well there, tables, where would they be?
You mean right now?
Right now, and maybe what, back in the day? If it doesn't exist anymore, sure.
Well, no, let's talk about the here
Well, he's
and
been
now.
kicked out of all those places.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are done.
Okay. Yeah. Here and now.
Here and now. I like Bellagio. I like Cromwell. Paris is okay again. I used to like Old Bally's, which is down the Horseshoe, which something's happening over there. I don't know what it is. I'm done with those guys for right now. Sam's Town, that's out there way out in the middle of the boondocks. That's a nice table. That's true balance. I told you to go there.
You told
Told
me
you to go there. They got the all tall small there.
you told me to go there, and they had
Yeah,
a
they had-
box woman named Yvonne she was cool. She's like been there for a while,
They
but
had
she was cool.
They used to have 3 tables there. They only have 1 there now.
Yeah.
They have the feature bet. They have another bet too, Ed. I don't know if you've ever encountered this before.
Interesting.
When you're the shooter, okay, you can bet this on any shooter, but you can only do it once per shooter per round. Okay, for instance, so Ed, you got the dice. You can bet between the minimum, whatever the table minimum is. In this case, it was $10, up to 500 maximum bet. If you can throw the dice for 4 rolls without getting a 7, it pays you even money. If you throw crap numbers, that counts as a roll. So if you throw midnight, if you throw craps, 11s, blah, 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 you're fine. It'll pay you even money. And so I think that's an excellent bet.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, what's wrong with that bet?
There's
Because
nothing wrong with that bet.
I
But
mean,
see, now you did the bet. So say you had $100 on it and you won the 100. Now you're done for that time. Now, so say 10 tons next shooter. Now everybody can bet that same thing again. Then when it's done, it pays out either lose or win, goes to the next
Yeah.
shooter. You can do it once per all the way around. Boom, boom, only once per shooter
but you can do it once per each shooter.
each time.
Oh,
Each time. So in other words,
that's better.
it's even better
That's a
than
great
yeah,
bet.
it is. So you've got like 6 players, do it 6 times, and you can do it another 6 times, another 6 times.
What's the maximum bet?
500.
That's a lot.
It is. So what we like to do, we've done this, and we go out there with 3 or 4 of us, start with $50. Then the next year go to 100, and then get it up to the 500. Boom, and start over again. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's an
Because
excellent bet, but I have not seen that bet anywhere else, and I forget what they call
I
it.
have
Do you
never
remember?
heard of it. You're gonna have a PSO somewhere around that table, maybe 2, or you're gonna have a 3 roller, not a 5 roller,
Sure.
whatever. You know, that's gonna happen. But I
Yeah,
would assume that if it happens, you come right back down to your 50
exactly. Start over.
and then start climbing again.
Yeah, you don't martingale it. Don't chase it.
No,
That'll
no,
kill
no,
you.
no, never. No, friends don't let friends martingale.
No.
Never. Never.
Surprising the players out there that do.
Well, they're all stupid.
They're not
They're
playing
stupid
smart.
to martingale.
They're not playing very smart.
You don't want to martingale because that's why they have house limits.
Oh, exactly.
If they didn't have limits, and if they didn't have more money than you, I mean, you could martingale, but you can't martingale
No.
and really win. And because they're going to eventually, it's going to bite you.
It will, definitely. Because they have more money than you. If you had more money than them and there's no limits, then you're going to be betting $1 million to make $25 because you martingaled it up that high, right? And start over
Yeah.
again. That doesn't even sound fun, even if you could do it.
No, you and I have a lot of mutual friends. Heavy, obviously,
Heavy, absolutely, yeah.
but a lot of the guys I know, you were their initial instructor. Memo was one.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Nader
Mm-hmm.
was another. He talked about the first, he called you to teach him how to bet. And he said, "You sure you don't want to learn how to shoot?" So, yeah. So, you've influenced a lot of people that are known and unknown, I guess is the best way to put it. Probably more unknown than knowns because you've got a lot of guys who come in from
Sure.
various parts of the country, take your classes. They come in and play and they're gone. Then you got people like Memo who hang out with a certain crowd. You got Nate, Aloha Johnny. You got
Yep.
other people. I don't know whether were his initial instructor or not. I got no idea, but you know him well.
Sure.
There's a lot of similarities, or we've run into the same people, and you and I have never played together.
No, we haven't. We've crossed paths
Yes.
and we know the mutual people, but we haven't played together. Well, we'll change that on your next trip.
Yeah, we're going to. Got to.
You need to come out to my place, check out my setup, and
It is very
You'll like
nice.
it. You'll like
It
it.
is. It's super chill.
Yeah, overlooks the pool, the spa, the waterfall.
Yeah, it is good vibes over there, man.
You would think we were at the Veer.
Yeah, it's good vibes.
Yeah, it is good
Yeah.
vibes. Yeah,
You got great vibes over there.
good energy. Gotta have good energy at these games. The casinos, you can't feel sorry for these casinos.
Absolutely not.
The report is they're taking in $1 billion a month. $1 billion a month.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Between F1 and the Super Bowl, they took in $1.1 billion for those two events alone. How do you feel sorry for them?
You don't, and
Not a
they're
bit.
giving craps players
Yeah, they're
heat.
giving us crap.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Whoa, what are they doing giving anyone heat?
Jeez.
He learned about South Point this weekend.
You went out there?
2 weeks ago, it was on our episode. My first toss, I got heat.
What I told you about. I told him all these things of where not to go and go.
Yeah.
And then he comes up like, then he goes anyway.
It's just, confirmation.
You got confirmation. That's
Exactly. Confirmation bias. But at least I know you told me so.
There you go. I told you so.
Yeah, first toss felt the heat, man. First one. And I was like, I get mad about that, man.
No, you can't get mad.
I get mad. Inside, I'm like, you guys make so much money and you prey on us that we're just trying to go in there. Yeah.
You look at, win or lose, so many players get so ticked off and PO'd when they lose. Your demeanor shouldn't change from winning or losing, because if you get that mad when you lose, you shouldn't be playing to begin with. And that would probably tell you they're probably playing with scared money anyway.
Yeah. If you had your own if you had a table out there, wherever you were going to play, your best favorite table.
The one at my
You're only
house.
going to take
the one at my house. The one at my house.
well, okay, whatever. But you're playing for money, and you've got 6 other shooters
that are really good.
Yeah.
that you can put at the table.
Yep.
Whether it goes back to somebody who's passed or not, who would you put on the table?
That's a good question. Let's see. I
Because-
can go back from day
Because
one.
some guys are fun to play with, but they're just kind of like better than average. And then there's guys that you really don't really like them personally,
Right.
but they've got a hell of a shot,
Right.
right?
Okay, I can give you a mixture.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, hey, yeah.
Okay,
Whatever
I'll just
works.
give you a mixture. Okay, let me just regress a little bit. If I had a choice, if I could pick, you say six or 8 people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can go back a ways, right?
You can go as far back as you want.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pick sharpshooter, Chris
I
Palicki,
figured.
right off the bat. Okay.
Yep.
Soft touch,
Yeah,
Nice.
of course.
Yeah.
Hardway.
Okay.
He's not with us anymore. Roadrunner. Who's
I
not-
told him Roadrunner. He's in
Nice.
your caricature.
Yeah, he is, and he is not with us anymore.
Right.
Let's see, was that 4?
4.
Okay.
Fill the table up. You got plenty. They got 12 slots there, dude. More.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to put this thing together here. If you're gonna put a team together, I would take Memo.
Yep.
Not a
He's
problem.
quality.
Nice.
I would take Memo.
Fun to play with.
Yeah, you got to put personality into this thing too. Because
Yeah.
like you said earlier, you can get some grumpy guys in there that can destroy a game.
Yeah.
Now there's some big names out there that I'm not going to mention that I wouldn't invite
No, we don't want to talk about those.
because their names are bigger than what they can perform.
Yeah.
So we don't want to go
I know
there.
some of those.
I know we both know them. So anyway, we don't want to go there. You're absolutely
Now
right.
teasing me because I wanna know.
Now,
Okay.
and actually, I've played with 10 ton one time, and I liked his grip and his toss, and his dice looked really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would invite him.
Listen,
You would
him.
invite 10
I
ton
am
to play at a table with
and-
Debbie Soft Touch?
and I am honored right now.
Yeah, but he's got to go to stick left 1.
Yeah.
Okay. It was
I'm
funny because
honored.
he was there. I was looking at him when he was setting. His hands were shaking. I'm going, what the
You're
hell is the
nervous.
matter?
Hey.
What the hell is the matter with you? I don't know.
I was honest. I was a little nervous, and it's like you're out with the,
You
you're
needed some
fucking
of
legend.
you
man.
needed some of Ed's So
I need
water.
Ed's bourbon.
Need some brown water, babe.
I would take also Howard Rock and Roller.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I've seen Heavy have some good rolls.
Yeah.
I haven't seen your roll, but I've heard about your rolls. If you were in town, I'd invite you, Ed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I was in town, I'd get to sit I'd be over there in the turn over there by the dealer somewhere.
Doesn't matter as long as you, doesn't matter. And here's another thing too. It doesn't matter. Everybody's not going to catch a hand. So get that out of the books right now. But if you get 2 or 3 people that catch nice long rolls, decent hands, and they could be different, the different 2 or 3 at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all you need. You don't have to
That's all you're looking for.
Don't use your ego. Don't let your ego take over. Because I'll give you a good example. Heavy and I did a class. We had about a dozen people in it. We did a live session at the Flamingo of all places. Okay.
Oh my
Nate.
Yeah.
He's at stick right 1. He was the first shooter.
Lefty.
And he held the dice for like, I don't know, 45 or 50 minutes.
Nice.
Let's see. Heavy had was it either the 6? I think it was the 8. He started with an $18 8 and he had it pressed up to $900.
Nice.
And he hits it and he hits the thing, right? And now the casinos get a little nervous because when you started with 18 and you're up to $900, and then of course all the other bets are pressed. Yeah. Finally he 7s out on his last roll because that's the last number you're going to see. So the dice pass. And so we just kept passing dice around. Barry was standing next to me and we were talking. I said, let's give them back to him and see if we can continue the roll. Well, the dice go to the other end and there's Howard Rock and Roller down there. He's got the dice. I said, Howard, pass them back to Nate. He goes, no, I want to shoot.
Howard wanted to shoot. Howard wanted to shoot.
You want to shoot. I said, Howard, you're not shooting today. You're not the star today. Nate's the star. Please pass him the dice. No, I'm going to shoot. Howard, you know how you've met Howard, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I know Howard well. Yes.
I said, Howard, if I have to come down there, it's going to be ugly. I said, so please don't make me come down there. Please pass him to Nate. I know you want to shoot. We know you can shoot, but it's his time to shine. So okay. Yeah. And he catches another 19 number hand. And out of that group, the time we were there, he was the only shooter. We all colored up and left because we were up a lot of money.
Yeah.
There you go. So again, it doesn't matter.
No.
I've had classes before where take the class to the casino. Okay. Now keep in mind, qualify the shooter. Just because I'm the dice coach doesn't mean I'm going to catch a monster roll every time.
Nope.
And it doesn't happen that way. And I remember one time Memo was there. I had a whole crew of people from the hook, from one hook to the other hook, and I'm at the end. And I'm the last guy to get the dice. So boom, 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 boom. Joe Simmons was there. A whole bunch of guys were there. Okay. They all had rolls in the teens. I get the dice and I'm going, I just had a feeling. What was
you didn't want the dice.
Yeah. I didn't want anything.
You really didn't want the dice.
No.
I know that feeling.
Exactly. So I get the dice, minimum bet. I think it was $10 at that time. And I always wait a roll before I do anything. Okay. Yeah. Just because of the PSO. So I'm looking at a couple of my students and they're going like 640 across. I go, whoa. Take those bets down. Call them off. Why? You're the dice guy. Yeah. Look at all we've had. You guys are all in the teens. This table is owed lots and lots of 7s, and I don't want to be the one. Please call them off. I made them call their bets off. Set a point. Threw a 7. Okay, now we're done. Color up and we get out of here. So I saved them a lot of money right there.
The long lost 7.
Yeah, the long lost 7. And then you watch. I bet you right after that. Here comes the 7s, but be a good dump table at that point.
So, Beau, I know that you've played mostly in Vegas, but do you go out and play in like AC and
been there
and Biloxi? Do you have like preferences?
There's so many casinos. I don't need to leave town to play.
Yeah.
I've been to the Beau at Beau Rivage. I got their cup that says Beau on it, right?
Yeah,
Beau.
that's perfect.
Beau, the dice code, BEAU, Beau. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a perfect.
It is, exactly.
They should be inviting you.
Yeah. So no, I've played at those places. I liked it down there at the Beau. Atlantic City, I didn't care for that much. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. I like Vegas better. I don't know. So some of the East Coast people like AC better. I don't know. It just depends on your taste, I guess.
You know, I can be in Biloxi by the time it takes me to fly to Vegas, and it costs me virtually nothing to drive there versus the flight.
Are you an electric car, Ed?
No.
No way is that driving
wait a minute. How long?
car.
Wait a minute, Ed. And wait a minute. How does it cost you nothing? You stealing your gas somewhere?
Well, no, I'm not stealing my gas, but
Do you have coupons? Do the casino send you gas coupons?
Tunica does.
Okay.
Tunica will send me they'll have, and when I go in and slide my card, they'll give me a trip reimbursement.
Nice.
Yeah. So they'll pay for my gas.
Beautiful. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Instead of charging you $40 to park at the place.
Yeah. None of the places I go to charge to park, but you know, Biloxi's such a nice place, and you got a good handful of casinos that you like to play at, and you can go play at any of them, or you can just do like I did last weekend and basically play 2, 3. I played at 3 different casinos, 2 sessions off site, and the rest of the time I just played at the Hard Rock. Hard Rock has no ATS, no bonus bets. They got hot bets. That's it.
Well, that way you can't waste a lot of money on not hitting that stuff and you bet it.
If you look at your win-loss statements, I tell everybody this, look at your win-loss statements and see where your table game play compares to the others. And you will know within 2 years where you should play on table games, because you're either ahead or barely below or whatever. And then there's some that you're like in the tank at, you know, play the ones that you win at.
True.
Right? And
so, exactly. And don't go back to the casino and say, I lost over there. I want to get my money back from those guys. But I lost you.
I've had that attitude before.
I have that attitude.
Don't do that.
I have that issue. I have that problem. I hold grudges, man, and I don't forget.
I used to hold a grudge against the Beau Rivage. I used to hold a grudge against them. And I kicked them way into next week as far as I was concerned. But it's a wonderful thing when you go to the cage, you've got those big chips that you were talking about, those gray ones that says 5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
And they ask you, the cage person, do you have a marker? And you go, no, I don't use them. And they start, good for you, and they just start counting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the great feeling when you're cashing those in, they just start doing it.
They always ask you that. They always, do you have a marker?
Yeah, if you got a big win, they ask you if you got a marker.
You know what I tell them?
It's a great thing. What?
I say, I don't have any markers, but my name is Parker. Sometimes Parker and marker get confused, right?
Yeah.
I want to. I'll take a $5,000 Parker.
Yeah, exactly. No, you shouldn't. You know, if you're traveling like to Vegas, I used to play on markers before I moved here, but that can be dangerous if you don't have discipline. So I don't want a credit line in any of these casinos myself. So if I go on tilt one night, I can only lose what I got in my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time since I've lived here 24 years, I used a debit card. Okay. And I will never do that again. So I get home, the age of the computer.
Yeah.
I get home and my wife goes, "You had a bad night, didn't you, dear?" I go, "Well, what do you mean? How do you know? I just got here. You haven't even talked to me." "No, but I went into our account and you hit the ATM machine for X number of dollars."
Yeah.
And I'm going, "Oh my gosh, I forgot."
Busted.
Yeah, big time. And the thing it is, and this was at Treasure Island too.
Yeah.
The thing of it is, they took out 1,000 more than I actually got. And I had to go back and prove it to them because it was a third party thing. And they overcharged me $1,000.
All those casinos, everything criminals, man.
Yeah.
Like, we got to hit them for a lot of money, man, and just keep hitting
I will
them.
never, ever, ever, ever do that again.
I don't use markers. I had a friend that I convinced he needed to use markers because
You borrowed from him?
because his buy-in was too big in
Sure.
cash, and it was just like
Oh, yeah.
he bought in everywhere we went, $20,100 every time.
20,100?
Every time, exact same number. And I finally said, dude, you're going to have to get a marker. I'm buying in with 1,200.
Yeah.
They've got me ready to go. And, I can go to the bathroom and eat breakfast by the time they've got your money counted.
Yeah.
Besides, that's too much money to be
Yeah.
carried around. It's too much money to
Yeah.
be carried around.
All right. So he's going to markers, which I'm proud of. But I have these private hosts that aren't tied to casinos.
Sure.
They'll invite me to go to some place. And they'll go, but you need a $5,000 marker, or you need to send X thousands of dollars into and wired into it.
The cage.
And my response every time is, number one, I don't use markers, and I do not send casinos my money unless they're paying me interest.
There you go.
Every time. And so I don't get to go on a lot of the things they invite me to because I have this negative thought about sending a casino $5,000 or whatever it is, and then them sitting on it for a week.
Sure.
I don't have a problem walking in and handing them $5,000 and say, put this on deposit for my marker, because I'm just there for a few days and I can just pull it and it's quick and it's fast. But I hate wiring money into a casino.
I like markers just because I don't want to carry cash.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice it's convenient, but you're right. That's a huge thing. Discipline.
You got to have discipline.
Oh man, those markers can ruin you fast on a night that just goes south and then it goes farther south. And yeah.
I was playing one time in Tunica. There was an old guy was at the Gold Strike. He was buying me, and he leans over. He hadn't been there all that long, and he reaches over and he holds up 5 fingers at the box and says, "Give me 5." And he turns around, looks at me, and says, "I'm an old man. What else am I going to do with my money?" And I'm like,
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, I've got a question that I was thinking about today, though. If you had to just generalize, do you see a consistent problem or issue that you're confronted with, or that you see every student has, or there's just one prevalent one? Because you've coached so many people and are teaching at a really high clip.
Well, before COVID, we were doing 30 to 40 students a month. And over years, that's a lot. And then we did some, larger groups and stuff. Now, since COVID, what's down, the last 6 months has been really good. We're doing maybe 25 to 30 students a month right now. So that's good. But as far as what was your question?
And by the way, we're going to put all your info out there, Beau, and make sure that everyone's aware of you and can take your class and can.
Oh, what website was that now?
What is that? Well, what is that website?
What is your website?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, what is that website?
www. Everybody knows that part, right? Knows that part. Dicecoach.com. And you can get my contact information.
And you sell dice as well, correct?
We do, with our logo on it.
Yes.
I love the dice. And
10 times got a couple pairs.
Beau was nice enough to bring me a pair, Ed, tonight.
Yeah.
I have no dice coach dice.
Well, we'll have to take care of that. When you come out to Vegas, I will be happy to give you some.
Present you.
Do you have a table at home?
You're gonna make me fly to Vegas to pick up dice.
But they're dicecoach.com dice.
Full-length audio and video versions of our Sunset on the Strip interview series will be available exclusively on our Patreon page. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and will tell all of your fellow craps-playing friends about it. Please follow Casino Tears on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. If you like the show, please rate it 5 stars and leave a review. The best and most fun way to contact us would be to call and leave a message on our official Casino Tears vent line, 229-07. You can also email us at no7@casinotears.com. New episodes drop weekly every Tuesday. And lastly, to help support this podcast, you can visit our Patreon at patreon.com/casinotears. On behalf of Roll to Win Craps from Alabama and 10 Ton is number one from Las Vegas, thanks for listening.